Hi everybody, my name's Doug Wilson, and this is Yellowhawk Custom KYDEX. For this video, I'm going to try to get this one on YouTube. It's going to be, I don't know how long, but it's going to be longer than 10 minutes, right? I want to show this system here, okay? This is the Leather Elite Blackout system, the Work Tough Ankura knife company Blackout. Nice knife. If you like sexy curves and nice knife. If you like security, you're in the right place. All right. So you guys stay tuned. We're going to talk about this and everything you can do with it. And we're going to talk a little bit about what makes us different than maybe some other makers out there. Okay? So, stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, we'll get this out of the way. What makes us different than maybe some other makers out there that do sort of what we do, okay? And let's face it, there is very few of us who are actually putting sheath systems together with options, right? Carry options, utilitarian options, that kind of thing, right? There's very few of us who even do it, right? It costs a good chunk of money to get started in this because you need all these things. You need the hardware, you need the KYDEX, which is more expensive now than it was a year ago. You know what I mean? You need all this stuff in order to build something that's high end, you know, top shelf, good quality. You need the materials to do it. And I tell you what, I would much rather spend $15, $20, $25 more for whatever, a few sheets of the best KYDEX I can get my hands on, and the thickest that I can make a sheath out of, right? Because I believe that is very important. The main sheath is your base. It's what carries everything else. It's got to be strong, right? So you'd be surprised at how thick some of this KYDEX is that I work with. You'd be surprised. And it's not that much more weight than, you know, a thinner piece. You're talking a ½ ounce, maybe, you know, as far as the weight of the sheath is concerned. So, number one difference is lightweight. Everything I build is built not just to be bomb-proof and all the options secure, but also lightweight. Now, when it comes to, you know, lightweight, I'll give you an example. Just one example of what we do, and then I'll tell you what other makers generally do, okay? Generally, when another maker wants to put a dangler on a sheath, they put an offset plate on the back of the sheath, okay? It's a huge, doubled up chunk of KYDEX, about that wide, and including the neck of it, that long, right? And doubled up, so that's much thicker than this, okay? and they attach it to the back of the sheath and then a D-ring up here. Well, I bypass all that, right? And I say to myself, what is super simple, super lightweight, but still very strong? The Voodoo Dangler. The way I put these in here and the way the hardware goes in, I've never had one break. Never had one lost, broken, cracked, nothing. Okay? This is a very strong way of doing it, but the lightest weight possible that I could think of, right? When I came up with this, I was like, wow. That cuts off like ounces because of that offset plate that most guys put on there. Now, I came from doing something different. I never did offset plates. Well, I have done them. I have done them for guys who wanted them, right? But generally, I always thought that was too heavy. You know what I mean? There's a better, more lightweight but still strong way of doing it, and this is what I come up with. And this one too, much more lightweight than an offset plate. Okay, this with the belt loop through the D-ring is much lighter than that huge offset plate that you see on most sheaths out there. Okay, that's just one example. I've kind of refined my sheath systems down to strong but lightweight. Simple, strong, lightweight. There's simpler, stronger ways of doing these things. Okay, and like I said, my ways aren't the best. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying there are better ways of doing these things, putting options on and holders and how you construct them and how you're going to retain that option in that holder, right? And I've seen some pretty good ideas out there of guys, and their, you know, the way they do things, the way they build their sheaths. Okay, let's talk about this Leather Elite. Okay, now this is something that I've been doing a long time. Okay, I honestly don't know anybody else out there that does this. Okay, there may be somebody that does it. Okay, so this is full grain leather over a fully functioning KYDEX sheath. Okay, and there is no play, no rattle with this knife inside the sheath. It just, I won't let it happen. Okay, and you can get it out. It's a one-hand draw, right? It's not super tight to get out. Now I can set the retention any way you want it. I can set it so that you really got to push hard on it, or I can just set it so it's fairly easy to pop. But this has an authoritative click, and this knife is not coming out of there unless you take it out. Okay? Now, if you're one of those guys who wants super security, I can put a slide lock in here that will lock the, essentially, right, lock the blade in the sheath so that you can't get it out, right? Or it'll take like an elephant to get it out or whatever. Okay? So, security, big issue here. Okay, so this is baldric carry. Okay? This is baldric carry. And it's set up with a shackle in the front. Okay? Lightweight. There's no D-ring with a big piece of plastic here. Okay? It's just not needed. Okay? Not something lightweight like a little shackle like this is plenty strong. Okay? And then you got our Raptor Dangler assembly, which clips into the belt clip. It clips in there. Okay? And you got a way to secure your baldric sling on the back there. And you notice how high up the handle that D-ring is. Okay? I can even get them higher up the handle. That's important. You got to have it at least above the top of the sheath, or it just doesn't ride right, right? So this is how it's supposed to ride, like this. All right, I don't know if you can see it. All right, like this. You can swing them around to the back. You can wear them high. If I can get this out of the way, you can wear them high like this, right? Okay, this is baldric, a very secure way of carrying a larger knife without having a whole bunch of complicated straps and, you know, blah blah blah, right? Very simple way of doing it, very secure. Okay, when you get to camp or whatever, you just take it off, put it on the, you know, whatever. Okay, okay. You can also carry this vertical baldric by undoing this part and clipping it into the D-ring. So both of them are clipped into the D-ring, and you can wear it in a vertical manner as a cross draw type thing. Okay? Okay, so let's take this configuration off of here. Okay, we don't want to wear it baldric carry today. We want to wear it as a dangler. That's what we want to do. Okay? Okay, so undo the Raptor dangler assembly, take it out of the clip. Okay, put your belt loop on your clip, snap it in, right? Snap it in, and now you have dangler carry. The tech lock or the combat lock stays on the sheath. Okay, super strong but lightweight. Okay, all right, let's say, okay, I don't want to wear a dangler today, I want to wear it as a belt carry. Okay, so you take this off, get rid of the Raptor dangler assembly, stow this away in your gear somewhere. Okay, now in order to facilitate a comfortable draw in the cross draw position, okay, now cross draw is pretty much a no-brainer in the field because you can slide this thing on your belt anywhere you want for cross draw. Okay, okay, so in order to get that handle up in the air a little bit, you want to take this clip and cant it, and the holes are already there, all you gotta do is screw into them. Okay, cant it, and that gets the handle up in the air a little bit and makes it easier to draw. You're not craning your hand underneath because you got handle droop, because most knives are handle heavy, and that combats that, you know, that cant to the clip. Okay, I also have, now we're testing these right now. Okay, this is a rotating system that is very secure. Okay, it's not as expensive as the Ulti-Link system that we do. Okay, but still very secure. Okay, and basically you just undo a couple of screws, right, set it where you want it, and then screw them in tight, and it stays there. Okay, and this will be mounted right to the mount plate. Okay, this is the mount plate right here. Okay, okay, so let's say well, you know, I don't want to wear it as a belt carry anymore. I want to wear it as a pack carry on my PALS webbing, on my military gear, right? So you take a belt clip, yeah, I'm sorry, a belt clip, a Molly lock clip, right? You take the belt clip off and you put this on, okay, right in the center, so that it's centered on your gear. Okay, trust me, you don't need two of these unless you definitely got to have two of these. I'll do it, but you don't need two of these. Okay, it's just not needed, right? That's part of me keeping things lightweight and simple, right? And you just put it on your gear, and it's secure. It's not going anywhere. All right, so that was what, 4 or 5 different styles of carry in one sheath. Okay, so versatility is the name of the game here. These are custom built rigs, custom built, right? So this sheath right here, just the way you see it right now with the Raptor dangler, took me, I want to say 5 or 6 hours to complete, with an overnight drying time for the leather. All right, the leather is physically attached to the KYDEX, so it can't come off. You have to rip it to get it off. Okay? Alright guys, that's it. Just wanted to show you how versatile these sheath systems can be. You're not going to get that from a production sheath. It's just not going to happen. You know, generally it's not going to happen. And if it does, they're using cheap materials. Most knife companies try to get away with as cheap a sheath as they can go, right? That will still give you a carry, maybe 2, right? And in a lot of cases, that's not really the best sheath for that knife, or you. When you set out to purchase a custom sheath for one of your knives or 2 or whatever, okay? When you set out to purchase a custom sheath, you really got to do some homework, okay? Just because it looks cool in a photo doesn't mean it's going to function well in the field for you, okay? You got to, especially if the sheath has options on it, you know, a sharpener, a compass, blah, 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 you know, a tactical light, live fire, you know, ferro rod, especially if it has options. You have to pick it apart to see how it's made. Weight. We're real concerned about keeping things strong, durable, utilitarian, but lightweight, right? That's the hardest thing to do in this business, right? Is to have a sheath that's got a bunch of options on it, but doesn't weigh that much, okay? There's no need for super overkill if it's already super strong with 2 layers of KYDEX. You don't have to put 3 on, or 4, or 5, or whatever, okay? So, security of those options and the weight of those of the whole system is a big concern here, okay? I'll give an example. Let me pull something off the shelf. Let's just take this sheath as an example, okay? Now, this sheath is made with fairly thick KYDEX, okay? Because that's important, right? The thicker KYDEX is not that much more heavy, you know, is not that much heavier. It's just not, okay? These options don't weigh a whole lot, right? But if you notice, the options are all held in with shock cord, okay? And it's highly unlikely that shock cord's going to pop off of there, okay? You have to physically remove it, right? Instead of just having it under compression, right? Which you're either not going to get it out, it's going to be hard to get out, or it's going to be just, you know, a little bit of compression. And trust me, if it's under compression, eventually you're going to lose that option. Eventually. And if you think you're not going to, spend enough time in the field and you'll see that eventually you're going to lose something off that sheath if it's just held in with compression, okay? Got to have some kind of physical attachment, okay? The ferro rod's the same way. The compass, okay, these mini compasses that I use, there is absolutely no way this thing's going to fall off of here. It's not going to happen, okay? It's on that shock cord up against the backing of, you know, the ferro rod holder, and the pressure is pushing it in, right, from the, see it? So very unlikely that thing's going to come off of there, okay? But you can still remove it because it has a scallop plate with hooks on it, right, that keep it on that shock cord, right? You can still remove it though, easily. So instead of making this big cumbersome holder for it, I take the lightweight route, the simplicity route, and I just put it on the shock cord because it works great in that position. All you do is you take the, I call these like flugel binders, these thumb thingies, right? Take the ferro rod out, put it in your hand, and use the compass. Just make sure the compass is away from all metal, okay? Mish metal doesn't affect the compass, okay? At least I've never seen it affect a compass. Keeping the compass on the sheath for extended periods of time, like we do here, does not affect the accuracy of the compass. Let's just say I've never seen it affect the accuracy of the compass. Okay, I've never seen it affect it. And I've been doing this a long time, and I've spent a crap load of time in the field. Okay, and you know, when I was in special operations, I had a compass. I had 2 or 3 compasses stashed in my gear and one on my knife, and it never lost its accuracy by being up against the blade of the knife, the steel. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. But secure, not going anywhere. Secure, not, you can't get it out unless you pop that thing off of there. Okay, security, no snaps. I don't use snaps on my systems generally, unless somebody makes me do it. But snaps are a liability in the field. Okay, if you've ever been in the field and had snaps come undone and you lose a piece of gear, then you know what I'm talking about. And pull the dot snaps, do it too. There's no foolproof snap out there that I know of. Okay, you gotta think about it. It's funny, guys rely on these pull the dot snaps. They can only go on one way, right? You pull this portion up, and say this is a snap. It snaps back first, right? Well, that's exactly the way it's going to come off if something gets under there. That's exactly the way it's going to come off. It's not going to go from the back forward. It's going to go from the forward back, right? So that pull the dot snap is supposed to work that way. It's going to come off, okay? I've seen it happen quite a few times in the field. Guys have lost knives, flashlights, weapons, you name it, all right? Okay? So, there it is. The mount plate here, this mount plate already has hardware embedded in it. It's built into there. I build it into there so that you can take the clip off and screw into it with a molly lock, right? Simple, lightweight. I mean, I do this full time, every day, all day. It's like, I love my job. I love it. I put a lot of thought and effort and money and time into what I do for you guys to make these things as secure, as bomb-proof, as functional, as utilitarian, and as lightweight as I can make them for you, so that you're not lugging around a 4 or 5 pound sheath with 2 knives on it, right? It's just a pain in the butt, you know, hauling that much weight in one area. And I really try to make things simple for you guys as far as getting a hold of me, actually ordering a sheath system, and the time in which it comes back to you, you know, the lead time. I don't go in for 4 or 5 month lead times. I try to keep things between 4 and 6 weeks. Okay? I really strive to get them done earlier, if I can, because I do this full time. You know, this is my job. So, you know, I try to really communicate with you guys what's available, and I'll give recommendations if you need them too. If you're on the fence about whether to get this or that, I'll tell you, say, and I'll be honest with you, for your situation, I wouldn't do it, or whatever, you know. I'll give you an example. If you're a guy who goes out into the field and uses your knife all day long and gets it dull, right, before you do anything with it, before you sharpen it, you're probably going to need a diamond rod sharpener, one of our diamond rods. But if you use it 1 or 2 times and then you put it on ceramic and then strop it, that's something different. I can give you a ceramic rod will work for you. So guys are different in the field. Everybody has their own ways of doing things, and I'm going to ask you questions. And if you are cognizant of the fact that I need answers to certain questions, you can just offer them right up front. Hey, look, I use my knife until it's dull, and then I'll resharpen it. So you're going to need a diamond hone, because remember my mantra: diamonds cut steel. Period. So, you know, if you got that field knife that you take out all the time and you love it, or you got a couple of field knives or whatever, it's worth investing in a custom sheath system so that you can carry it any way you want, anytime you want. Okay? Alright guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. This is Doug Wilson from Yellow Hawk Custom KYDEX. See ya!